Welcome back in, everybody. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy, brought to you by Nikki Anderson, Realtor and Broker Associate. Check out Nikki at 805-235-3327. Looking to list a home, sell a home, talk about real estate. Nikki Anderson, 805-235-3327. And don't forget her beautiful condominium out in Hawaii, which you can view at vrbo.com. 614-266. Tell them Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy sent you to receive special pricing. And again, that's Nikki Anderson, Realtor, 805-235-3327.
I would like to mention it, and if you could, go ahead.
I need to clarify something.
May I just state that
Yes.
I am impressed with how much admiration you have for Mr. Palmer.
I do.
You put him high on a pedestal, and I'm telling you, I don't know if there's many that you consider that high up there. So it's nice that
What's the official name of that house? The bunk house?
The crow's nest.
The crow. Thank you.
So would you look up if Mr. Nick? Would you look up if Jack's a member? Because I honestly thought all these years if you won, you became a member. But I know you can get playing privileges. But you don't become a member. But I know that Mr. Palmer was. But I like to know. But can we? I'm going to change the subject if you don't mind. And because I find this fascinating, but there's that new book out called Commander in the Cheat. Commander in Cheat.
Yes.
So that's written about Trump's, and it's brand new. So if you guys are listening to the news, you've seen it. It's about his antics on the golf course. But we'll come back to that in maybe next week's show, or if we get him on the show. But as I was reading that up, there's 4 personality traits, I should say, that if they're on the golf course, almost always they are that way in business. And there's 4 major ones of them. And
gotcha.
And we've played with these people, I'm sure. But if you play with these people and you find out that this is how they are on the golf course, they most likely are the same. And there's study after study of this. And these aren't good traits. These are business. There's also great traits too. If you find a guy that has integrity and stuff, these are. But there's the cheater, the hothead, the obsessor, and the sulker. And so the cheater obviously is what it says. They fudge with markers, they overlook strokes and reposition balls in the rough. Other players notice but are often too stunned or embarrassed to call them in the task. Most cheaters are highly competitive people who are narcissistic ego structures. They're driven to maintain an image of power, control at all costs. Sound familiar to our commander in cheat? But they have come to show that and these are people that they've studied, that if they're that way on a golf course, almost always that way in business. Almost always. And it's kind of scary because for instance, they could falsify records or undercut others to maintain their image. These are things that they would do in business. They choose to alter their playing field instead of offering their skill set. They'll offer the playing field. They don't change their skill set. If they're experiencing problems at work, they might rely on the same tactics. So hotheads, and we've played with those that known name.
And these are the only 4 golf personalities?
Bad.
Okay,
yeah, there's so many good.
Okay.
These are traits that they notice that, and you have it there, right?
Yes, I do.
So the hothead, and we've played with some that, that they bang their clubs in the trees, they mutter obscenities to make everybody around them uncomfortable.
Right.
Their inappropriate behavior tends to distance and intimidate others. Rage, there's some people just explode on the golf course. A primal defense against feelings of weakness. People who routinely exhibit rage on the golf course may experience a chronic state of anger that manifests itself in his job as well, for obvious reasons. So and Mr. Palmer, speaking of which, this guy that wrote the book on the Commander in Cheat was a good friend of Mr. Palmer's, and Mr. Palmer always said that he wouldn't do business with somebody unless they played golf together first. And that I
like that.
And then he could tell a lot in the 4 hours, but it was sometimes more than 1 or 2 rounds. And if they showed any of these traits that you have to look out for, the obsessor, their behaviors may not be. We played with hotheads, right?
Yes,
and I'm talking
definitely,
extreme. Not to know, you get pissed off after a bad
Everybody
shot.
gets frustrated,
but explosions, right? And just you see, there's so many YouTube videos that are hilarious. Have you seen them recently?
Yes, they are.
So. And their behavior, this obsessors, they may not be as visible as anger, but are equally disruptive. They're not living in a real time. Instead of shaking off a bad shot and moving on, obsessors tend to replay it again and again and again in their minds. They get themselves so involved in their poor performance in a kind mental self-flagation. When you flag yourself, what is that flag? How do you say that word? When you flag, when you whip yourself with a flag. How do you say it? Flagellation.
Flagellation.
People know
flagellation.
when you self.
Yeah.
They focus on the negative. They don't. They're just always focused on the negative. They suffer from a misperceived image of power and control rather than a cheat to maintain the image. However, they blame themselves for not being good enough to live up to it. The reasoning may go to something like this: I hit a bad shot, therefore I'm a bad person. So if they're really obsessors, they probably are in business as well. And
wow,
so
that's heavy.
That was heavy. I don't know if I've ever played with that extreme. Golfers,
I don't think I have.
ruminate about their play, like to micromanage in business environment. They don't like to delegate because of fear that no one can do the job right, that only they can, but then they put themselves down when it's not. So I don't see that many out there, but it's something, somebody listening might have been playing with that person. I played with many sulkers, Mike.
I was just thinking the same thing.
The sulker is one is if they're having a bad round, they shroud themselves in silence. Their faces are hidden, their movements become jerky and unnatural. They sigh deeply. When asked what's wrong, they mutter nothing. If they're having a good round, on the other hand, they don't get particularly excited. Sulkers know that things just don't work out for them, like Eeyore. Oh, well.
Oh, my gosh.
So sulkers don't have a healthy view of themselves in relation to the natural frustrations of life. Because we all get frustrated, right? There's a natural time to get sulk, man. I've been, make the same mistake 3 times in a row. Up to me, that just...
I've been a sulker in a round once in a while.
But it's temporary. I mean, so this is these... Yeah, we all have, and so and especially I was when I've been injured so much, and I don't understand why I can't perform. And so, but now in reality, I kind of understand it. I'm starting to get, but it's interesting that they found, and it really was interesting. And I bring it up because of the new book. And we never get political on this, but that new book shows many examples of our commander in chief on how he's on the golf course, and he plays a lot of golf.
Yeah.
With a lot of people, and a lot of people who played with him have shared their stories, and so I'm sure he's not pleased that this book is out. But the guy,
those stories shared in the book?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there are lots of them. And,
we got to get this guy on.
And he challenged him, and I don't know if I talked it offline or if I mentioned it on. He challenged him $100,000 bet. The guy that wrote the book, and use their handicaps, because he says he's a 2.8. He's only turned in 20. Is it 20 scores you need to get a handicap? Right.
Yeah.
So he's played for years and years and hundreds of rounds of golf. In total, he's only turned in 20 scores. And so he picks and chooses the score. But he's
Trump does?
Yeah. But he's only turned in 20 total ever. Right? He plays, hundreds of rounds of golf. And he's a 2.8. That's his official index.
So it's Rick Reilly.
Yeah. And he's a very famous writer. I thought we had him on once with one of his books many years ago.
I think we did,
but it would be nice to get him on. And he's doing all the talk shows. He was on CNN, and he's doing on obviously CNN, but it's pretty, and it brought up people's personalities on a golf course. I remember we used to do the segment, are you this guy, or have you played with this guy? But it was done with humor, and there's the subtle, there's the rules guy that knows every rule, and there's the
that's a great
talk
segment.
to your golf ball guy.
Yep.
But these are things to look out for in golf and how it can show personalities. And you've played enough golf with me. I'm pretty lighthearted and usually have a lot of fun, and I don't take it too seriously. But that's how I am in kind of real life.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
It shows that, I also like to do things well. I mean, I do. It's in my business or on the golf course. I want to do well, and I try hard. So that shows, right? It kind of.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So it's
definitely.
I found that interesting. So I don't know why, but I was looking for things to talk about this evening. And next week our show, we're going to be live on Saturday of the Masters, right?
Right.
We will be in the studio live that morning, and we can do a morning show. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. We will be live on that Saturday morning.
So do you have any follow up or any topics on that? Because we could go back to our Masters picks and talk. I just found it intriguing only because of this book came out, right? So I was reading some snippets from the book. And I think I have one too, and I was thinking, and then some people have done studies from that. So,
well, I don't think it's hard to ascertain from Trump's behavior that he has an ego cap.
Oh boy!
I mean, I don't think there's any question about that at all. I really don't. You look at how he tries to control different things, the way he tries to control media and everything else. Without getting too political here, we're just talking about personality types. I totally see that. And the funny thing about that, honestly, is like the challenge from Rick Reilly, the author, Trump's going to get just absolutely annihilated on the golf course.
He'd get creamed. And he's an honest 4.8, right? He's a good player, been playing a long time. I would challenge Trump. I'd give him his 2.8, and I'm not a scratch golfer.
Right.
I'd give him his heartbeat. I'd give him. I don't know. I've never played golf with him, so I don't know. Right. I can just assume, and from what I assume, that
it'd be really scary though, because you know how we we used to play golf with Steve Ford, and our friend Augie would go down and play with Steve and his dad once in a while down in the desert. Could you imagine if you're playing against Trump and you're playing that match? Secret Service guy comes over and goes, "What are you doing?" "I'm just trying to see what Don's doing with the ball over there." You can't go over there.
I know, but if you see the movie with
You
Ray
can't.
Romano
There's something
and
you can do.
Gene Hackman and Ray Romano, I think it's Gene Hackman, and he was a former president that went to this little town, and he went out there and they were playing golf to the match for the girl.
Yep.
And the wife says, "Come on, guys, come out of the woods," and all the Secret Service came out of the woods because his ball always got bounced back into the fairway. It's kind of funny because they did a parody on, and that's pretty much what's happening.
Exactly.
You know, it's and he had a low handicap, and he never broke, never shot more than 80, and he did. He was awful. I remember Ray Romano's counting his score with the clicker.
Yes.
"I'm sorry, Mr. President, but that's a 13. Remember that movie?
I do. What was the name of that?
I can't remember.
Mr.
I know
President?
But it was a little bitty town, and they were running for mayor against each other.
El Presidente?
So Hackman. No.
Hackman?
But it was Gross Point. I don't know.
But every club that I have been at, that I've worked at, and actually I haven't been at any club other than the ones I've worked at. Like you get to belong to one.
We played many golf courses you didn't work at.
No, I'm talking about like when you're a part of a club, like a men's club.
Oh,
like the men's clubs I've been involved with, I worked there part time and I was part of the men's club, but there was always one or two guys that have ego caps.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was always that way. And it's fascinating to me. I mean, obviously there's a heck of a lot more sandbaggers, or there used to be.
Yeah, then you got the guy that's a 14 that comes in and shoots 71 in your tournament.
Oh man,
right? There's those guys too, which is weird because that I would think more. Well, I don't know. I would be more of wanting a lower index than the higher one and playing well,
right?
Because I just that if I was going to fudge either way, I'd fudge the low, because I'd rather be a 2 than a 14, right?
If the club is doing its job, the pro in the club and the men's club, or the club, the golf course, and every tournament they have, they're posting everybody's score. The way they have it set up now, it's nearly impossible to
sandbag now.
To sandbag.
So nowadays,
if every score is being posted, so just like what you said about Trump,
it used to be up to the player to post their own.
No,
not anymore.
The club has to control.
So
that.
they control it. So every round they play, somebody turns it, and that's cool.
Yeah, and
especially competitive rounds, right?
And it is too,
or
because
league rounds
definitely. I mean, if you're playing like our men's club, we give away a lot in prizes at the end of the year, and the prizes come from the guys that are paying dues in the men's club. So basically,
it has to be honest.
If there's guys cheating, they're stealing from the other guys in the club, right?
And the other guys would obviously know that.
And skins, the same thing.
You have net skins, huh? So
we have net and gross.
So they need to be really honest about their handicap.
Yeah, and so we control the skins. Every time we put the scores in for the skins, we post the score with it. For the player?
Is that easier now because of the modern technology?
Yeah.
So
Way
you think that's what all clubs are kind of doing now?
They should be.
They should be doing.
I don't know if they are, but you can tell when someone comes from another club, and you can tell when they're not being monitored. You can tell that in a heartbeat. By the way, I came up because I do Friday skins at Paso. I love numbers. I've always been kind of a numbers geek kind of guy. Like you're making fun of me when I calculated out stuff earlier in the show.
I don't make fun of you. Well,
kind of do. Well, here's stuff
but with love.
Here's stuff that I've done on the skins games, and I absolutely love this bantering. You know how we love to banter. I mean, you and I was bantered as long as we've known each other. So one of the guys came in, and I'm collecting the scores on Friday, a couple Fridays ago, and I start punching the numbers into the computer program, and I'm looking, and I go, man, that's a lot of fives. Gross fives, lots of fives, right? So I count them. This guy had 12 fives on his card. 12 gross fives.
Mooseport. Sorry.
Yeah. 12 gross fives.
12. So, okay.
12. Think about that.
That's a lot of fives.
That's hard to do.
Well, you know my
12
you
out
know
of-
one of my feats, right?
Yeah, but 12 out of 18.5. So when I go in and I announce the winners of the skins, I did a little something different, special. And this particular person,
You gave
without
him
saying
a high
anything,
five.
no, I gave him a roll of nickels.
Oh, that's
Fives.
cool. That's cool.
A roll of nickels.
That's very nice.
So then, like last week,
And he got it, of course.
oh, he thought it was hilarious. Last week we had another gentleman, Joe Cox. I don't know if you remember Joe Cox. He plays up at he's lefty. He plays up at Paso.
Yeah.
He went 5-5-5 on hole 1, 2, and 3. He went 5-5-5 on 10, 11, and 12. So guess what I gave Joe?
6 nickels.
I did,
You're the man.
and everybody loved it.
You are the Jefferson nickel guy.
Yeah, and then the last one I did, which was really cool, a guy had on hole 13, 3 foot, 3 inches on hole 13.
So you gave him 33 cents.
I gave him $3
$3.
because I'm a big spender.
I'd have given him 303, but you are a big spender.
Yeah.
So you know, and one of my.
But that's fun. Isn't that fun
I had
stuff?
54 fours in a tournament once.
I remember you said that.
54.
That's pretty
fours.
phenomenal, man. What'd you get?
Nothing. I came in second, won like I don't know, $80 or something. It was a little pro thing. Actually, I was probably an 800, but I didn't come in first. And
But they didn't give you anything for all the fours.
No, I should have
See,
got.
I'm telling you,
I might not even won $400 back then.
You got to make golf fun again, man. You got to make it fun. You got to play with the numbers a little bit.
I would have liked to have got
Make it.
$444.
What if they gave you
Moose Sport.
something? Oh, Mooseport's the name. Gotcha.
But
We got to take our last
But you're
break.
right. I'm trying to think back because it was a 54-hole tournament and it was a PGA sectional thing in upstate New York. I should have won something.
You should have. I think you better find that person and write to him.
Wasn't a lot of money, but it was like the 85. 54 fours though, dude. And I made a 20-footer in the last hole for a 4.
That's awesome.
So that was pretty. And people, they were kind of knowing it by then. And I 3-jacked a par 3, and one guy thought I was doing it on purpose. I didn't, but it was But I did. I made a 20.
I could see you doing all that stuff. Not 3-jacking on purpose, but
Yeah, I
the
did.
fours. All the fours, because you're Mr. Consistency.
I did a
We've
lot
always
of
been really
fours.
consistent.
Yeah.
We're going to take our last break of the show here, guys. I want to thank Mr. Dave Schmanel with Slick Sticks. He's your key to better golf. Clubs, grips, repairs, adjusting loft and lies, lessons, flight scope, and more at Monarch Dunes Golf Course. Give him a call at 805-598-9993. That's 805-598-9993. Slicksticks.com, STIX.com. Tell them Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy sent you. We'll be right back with more Golf Talk Radio. Stay with us.